I definitely think the Carson game at the Link is going to be huge. I think that's the biggest one. However, I got to say, on the schedule, the Cowboys Christmas Eve in Dallas, you beat the hell out of that team at Christmas and destroy all those people's Christmas is the greatest gift I could get. It's the greatest gift. I want them to be miserable on Christmas. I want them miserable.
I've got to get my boys' perspective on this here now.
Yo,
Philly 500 joins us now. Hey, by the way, before we get going, brother, I brought this up yesterday about Miles Sanders. He's going into the final year of his contract.
Yeah.
You think Howie re-signs him at 9.575? That right there, though, is the franchise tag. If you were to tag him. So that's kind of the market price for a top-flight running back. How do you think they handle Miles Sanders as he goes through his final season?
I think Miles is going to have a really good year, but I still think that they're going to let him walk. I do. I just can't see them paying that much for a running back. I think you can get a running back other places, So my guess is that they let him walk, but we'll see. We'll see.
I think he's going to have a shot at a really good year. And you know what? If he is healthy, I hate to do this, but I could see 1,100 yards out of that kid because of that offensive line, especially if Jalen's playing better.
Yeah. I like Miles. Do you know he still averaged 5.5 yards a carry last year? Like, all the struggles and stuff, he still was averaging 5.5 yards a carry. So if this guy stays healthy, I think he could be a 1,200-yard running back. I really do. But he's always dinged up,
What'd you make of the schedule that you see for 2022?
I love this schedule. I think it worked out great for the Eagles. I look at the schedule and I go, who do I know on this schedule definitely is going to beat the Eagles? Like, maybe you can say Green Bay, you want to argue. Maybe they have a hard time in Indianapolis, maybe Tennessee. But to me, I don't think it's impossible for this team to win between 11 and 13 games. And I don't think I'm exaggerating. Like, I'm not being biased. I really think that the schedule is not that bad for them at all.
How about this? Do we agree from week 10 to week 13, this is probably the most difficult part of the schedule here because it's Washington, Colts, Packers, and Titans. Those 4 games right there, we're pretty much going to know what kind of football team they are because, like you said, I could see them going into the Washington game. I could see them being 8-2, 7-1. I mean, they could go into that gauntlet of games. That's the hardest part of the schedule. Do you agree?
Agree. 100%. I totally agree. Yeah, it definitely is. And even those teams, like they're playing Tennessee at home, like in December. I mean, I think they got a shot that game. I think they got a shot to go beat the Colts. Like, there's nobody. Like, last year you looked at it and you saw Tampa Bay a loss. Kansas City, that's a loss. Like, you knew there were losses on that schedule. And on this schedule, if the Eagles play their best, I think they're in every game. In every game.
What is the game you want to see off of this schedule? What do you think Eagle fans are going to be looking more for? The Jags game? The Jags game with Doug, the Cowboys game at the Link, or the Wentz game?
I would say, well, the Cowboys is always a big deal. I definitely think the Carson game at the Link is going to be huge. I think that's the biggest one. However, I got to say, on the schedule, the Cowboys Christmas Eve in Dallas, you beat the hell out of that team at Christmas and destroy all those people's Christmas is the greatest gift I could get. It's the greatest gift. I want them to be miserable on Christmas. I want them miserable. You know what I mean? We got to win that game.
The Link game with Wentz and the Christmas Eve game
in
for
Dallas.
you because you want Dallas's Christmas destroyed
I want
killing
it
them the day before.
I want them all upset and miserable, passing out presents, getting drunk, whatever the hell they're doing. I'm going to be sitting back drinking eggnog, smoking a cigar. Greatest Christmas ever. And you got to win that game. That's my whole season right there. That game. I love Christmas. I love eggnog. I need them to beat them. You know?
All right. Does Doug Pederson get a standing ovation? Xander thinks that Doug is going to get a standing ovation when he rolls. Now, did Andy Reid, the first time he rolled into the link, being in Kansas City, did you guys give him, by the way, thank you, Ray, did they give Andy a standing O?
I think they did. I can't remember 100%, but I'm pretty sure they did. Because when he left, it was like, I think both sides, everybody felt like it was time. He was there, like 10, 11 years or something like that. I think he got a standing O. I do. And I think Doug will get one too. And I think Doug should get one. I really do.
Okay. The response the fans give Wentz on the 10th week of the season when he comes into the link.
It's going to be a mix. It's going to be boos and cheers. It's going to be a mix. Because you got some people who love Carson Wentz still. And, you know, they look at it like if Carson Wentz never was on this team, we never win a Super Bowl. So there's going to be those people, and then there's going to be the people that, you know, feel like he bailed on the team. So I think you'll get a mix. I think you'll hear the boos, you'll hear some cheers, but all they'll report is the boos. That's all we'll hear about.
Is he the most hated ex-Eagle of all time?
Wow. Man,
how about this? Is he the most hated football player that will be going into Philadelphia and into the link of all time? Michael Irvin, all those guys that have rolled in there. Is he the most hated football player?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say not the most hated, but maybe the most, by some people, most disliked Eagles player. I think Jason Babin could be up there for the Eagles. And then I'll tell you a guy I hated, Phil McConkey of the Giants. I couldn't stand that guy. I could not stand that guy. I hated McConkey. That guy drove me nuts.
I hate Phil McConkey.
No, he guy catch a 2-yard pass and then be cheering like he won the Super Bowl. Could not stand Phil McConkey. Most young guys don't know who that is, but
he's a former New York Giant wide receiver.
Pain in the ass.
One thing I also like on this schedule here, the first 4 games of the year, okay? Lions, Vikings, Washington, Jags. Then you get this. 2 benchmark games. Cards, then the Cowboys at the link. Then you got a bye. Then you got the Steelers. Look at how this is playing out here. 2 points here on the schedule. So you're going to go Cowboys at home, bye. Then you're at home again against the Steelers. You're going to have 3 weeks at home getting yourself healthy again as you kick up the second half of the season. You're basically, in theory, going to be home for almost a month when you're in the middle of the schedule. That's got to help, especially guys like Kelsey.
Yeah, I didn't even pick up on that. Yeah, that's great. Home for a month, and then you go into that tough part where we talked about earlier. I think that's huge, man. I don't even like. I'm telling you, this schedule. I love this schedule. This schedule. If Jalen Hurts is the guy, this team could be dangerous, man. They could be dangerous.
Philly, do you get accused of being a hater on Jalen when you just start bringing up things he's got to improve on?
I'm accused of being a Jalen Hurts hater, and I'm accused of being an apologist. I get accused mainly because when they drafted him, my reaction video to them drafting him wasn't good. I was not happy about it.
I agree.
But I mean, I do get accused if I say stuff like, well, he's got to prove it with his arm and stuff like that. I'll get people say, well, you know, Deshaun Watson doesn't have to prove it, or Russell Wilson doesn't have to prove it. It's like, yeah, but those guys already did it. They already established themselves. But I do, I get accused of it all the time.
So, last question. Grade the schedule for you. Give me what you're looking at. You think between 11 and 13 games, and they win the NFC East.
Yeah, I think between 11 and 13 wins. I think they come out. They got to start at least 2-0, in my opinion. But I think they win 11, 13 games. They win the division, and they win the first round of the playoffs. They win the first home game in the playoffs, and then from there, we'll see. It's all about Jalen Hurts at that point. But that's what I think that they do.
Well, I think we may be smoking cigars this year because guess what? I think we should be doing. I think we light up a cigar every week they win, and we'll see how many cigars we smoke together here if they win. So during the season, when they win, we're going to light cigars on the air. Fair enough?
I love it. Fair enough. I said let's do it.
Going. We'll get it all going here. Hey, have a great weekend, Philly. I appreciate
you too,
doing
my
man.
This, thank you for having me on, man. Appreciate you.
You bet, man. Philly 500 there. I never thought about that. Is Wentz the most hated football player to come to Philadelphia? Oh, Carson had some comments for you. I want to hit on that. Please hit the like button. Hey, I'm telling you, Carson Wentz. I'm trying to think of another. Michael Irvin. Did you hate Michael Irvin more than Carson Wentz? Did you? Okay. All right. Hey, I'll ask you that question. We come back out of the timeout. Don't forget, my friends at Morgan & Morgan, where the fee is free. If you're hurt or injured on the job, picking that attorney is going to be one of the most important things that you can possibly do for your family, getting that fair compensation. For the people. This is not a slogan, friends. This is who they are and what they do. Last 30 years, my friends at Morgan & Morgan have collected over $13 billion worth of compensation for their clients. The army of attorneys, over 800 strong, 800 strong, and offices in Philly, New York, Florida are there for you. They're the biggest casualty firm in the country protecting you. And this is what they do, and this is who they are. Look, the call's free, 800-512-1600. That's 800-512-1600. The consultation is free. They're there for you to get your family the fair compensation. 800-512-1600. And when you call Morgan & Morgan, do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.
When choosing a lawyer for your injury case, you may ask, does the size of the law firm matter? Well, of course it does. The insurance company, they're huge with unlimited resources. And whether your case is big or small, they're built to bully you out of the money you're owed. But here's the good news. We're big too, the biggest actually. And we're built to fight to make them pay for all that was taken from you. Size is our strength. There's only one Morgan & Morgan. ForThePeople.com.